vice chair misspoke last time we had a meeting about the piloting of the half-days on 2 different days. This year is actually the first year that we will have the half-days on different days in October and November.
I don't have the calendar in front of me.
No, nor do I. Hold on. So, the 23rd is for the high school and middle school, and then in November, the November date is the elementary school and the primary school half-day. So, yes, apologize for that.
I hope the community...
Yeah, I hope that, and
Keeps up with
actually, I
that.
thought there was a debate going on about it someplace today. So there are 2 separate half-days for the schools, and we'll see how that goes this year, and then we'll decide if we want to incorporate it again in next year's calendar. So, and that was it. So we have warrants and, on the table to approve and line item transfers. Bucket.
Sure.
Yep.
These are just... Yeah.
Just okay, so the line item transfer request is from Mr. Londa. He would like to transfer $2,190 from the sewer dumping fees line into the new equipment line so that he can replace his tractor prior to snow season.
And that's it?
The funds are not needed in the other account, why?
Apparently, in the past, there were additional fees related to the opening of the new school, water for seeding the fields, etc. And that line item actually could have been reduced, knowing that we weren't going to have to use water in that way this year. So he's feeling very confident that he's got more than enough money in that line to transfer in.
Okay.
So you recommend approval?
Yeah.
So I need to take a motion?
Yes.
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the line item transfer in the amount of $21.90 from the sewer line to the new equipment line.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we have minutes to approve. Did you get my email with those changes on the minutes?
They are correct.
Okay. So did everyone else take a look at the minutes?
Yes.
And the changes that I sent you as well?
Were they the same?
Some of them were,
Oh,
yes.
So I will take a motion to approve the minutes.
I can move to approve the minutes from September 6th regular session, from our September 19th regular session, and the workshop session on September 25th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Superintendent's report.
So the spring 2018 MCAS results are in, and student reports should be going home next week, so parents can look for those results. Additionally, the district and school accountability levels had been posted. There's a shift in accountability labeling this year. Prior to, it was, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This year, they've got schools of recognition, schools that are meeting targets, partially meeting targets, and those that are in need of focused, targeted support, and those that are in need of broad, comprehensive support. Happy to report that all of our schools in the district fall in the categories that do not require any assistance, and there'll be further detailed information when we have the MCAS reports at our next meeting, October 17th.
Okay.
I'd like to highlight the Lunenburg Roar Task Force. Those of you seated at the table, you're probably already well aware that The ROAR stands for Resources for Opioid Addiction and Recovery. The task force was formed in 2017 by a group of concerned citizens who wanted to make a difference amid the opioid crisis. Their three main goals are to increase awareness, provide fact-based information, and provide information about support and resources. And on November 1st, the Lunenburg ROAR and Walmart are sponsoring a presentation by Dr. Ruth Potee entitled Substance Use in the Teen Brain. Dr. Potee will explain how substances can impact brain development in young brains. The presentation is scheduled to take place at 6:30 PM on November 1st at the middle high school.
Do we know if there are plans to record that for rebroadcast?
I'm not
And
sure
if
if
not,
they are planning to broadcast.
If not,
says yes.
I'm
She said
asking the
yes.
fact.
Oh, we
Okay.
got it, yes.
Thank you.
Susan saying
Yeah,
yes.
And is that in the auditorium? Or the
It will be in the auditorium. Additionally, we have some informational packets from ROAR that are available over at the table for the public, that explains, the history, how they've come to be, some of the presentations that they've hosted up to this point, from the time that they began this effort. And we also have some flyers as well for the November 1st presentation available on the table.
Is that on our webpage? Or are we gonna put that on the webpage?
We
or
can
no?
certainly put it on the webpage.
Yes.
And lastly, I would like to say that I'm very happy to be up and running on Twitter to push out communications relative to all the good happenings across the district as I'm out and about. I think it's a nice way to provide quick snapshots to the public and to parents about all the neat things that are happening in classrooms and in play yards and projects across the district. I know that A.D. Bennell has really done a fantastic job with Twitter, pushing out all that's happening on the athletic front for the schools. So happily, I'm joining him in good company, pushing out good information.
What's your Twitter handle?
You can find me if you search Dr. Burnham LPS at LPS_doctor. And we will post that on the website as well.
And is that it for your superintendent's report? Okay, so we're on to new business, and that is athletic and activity fee.
So shall we start with the activity fee and ask
Mr.
McGrath?
Yep.
Principal McGrath?
You should come up, pull a chair to the table.
Good evening. So I believe you have it in your packets? Dr.
Yep.
Yes.
So I just wanted to kind of explain the thought process around the activity fees. I wanted to try to gather as much information for you to kind of look at neighboring towns. And I wanted to look at neighboring towns that would kind of be demographically similar to Lunenburg. So looked at Air Shirley, looked at Groton, looked at North Middlesex, looked at Tingsboro, and I think West Boylston, in my opinion, is probably almost, Tingsboro and probably West Boylston are probably the closest to our demographic. So our activity fee at Lunenburg High is $55. Air Shirley is $50, Groton is $100, North Middlesex activity fee is $25, and then $25 for every club that they want to participate in. Tingsboro is $75, and West Boylston has a range between $75 and $100, depending on the particular club they're running. I didn't break it down any further than that. I also wanted to kind of take a look at some other things, just a comprehensive look at what we charge all our families. Bus, we don't charge anything at Lunenburg High School, and as you can see, Air Shirley, Groton, North Middlesex, and Tingsboro also do not have a bus fee. West Boylston, though, does have a bus fee, of $175 with a family cap of $350. They actually charge a late fee if it goes beyond 8/1, they have to pay $50 extra on the late fee. So, and then I did put the class dues, which really has nothing to do with the administration or the school. That is handled by each class. So that is absolutely student-driven, and students take care of all of that. And then I also wanted to put on what we charge for parking, and as you can see, we're very, very reasonable, and we're also very reasonable with activity fees. For parking fees for Lunenburg High School, it's $50 for the year. At Air Shirley, it's $100. For Groton, it's $100. North Middlesex, it's $60. Tingsboro, it's $200. And West Boylston is $150 for the year. So, with that being said, when you look at our neighboring communities, we are either tied or at the bottom for what we are charging for our fees and our parking fees, as well as our bus fees, we're at zero. So the activity fees support all extra, at Lunenburg High School, the activity fees support all extracurricular activities as well as field trips, assemblies, and fundraising for special events. We rely on these to maintain a wide variety of options that enrich our school community. Payment is required by students with the exception of students who would qualify for free and reduced lunch. And then I also kind of broke down kind of some examples on the far right-hand column of the clubs that we have. We also, on the website, and I pulled this off our website, we have kind of a list of all the clubs that we offer and activities, and they give a little bit of a short description of each club and what we do, and that is on the website. And next week, both Tuesday and Thursday, during our advisory periods, we're going to have presentations in our CAF for all the clubs we offer. We're going to do freshmen and sophomores on Tuesdays, because it's more manageable with two classes in the CAF. And then on Thursdays, we're going to do the seniors and juniors. And the seniors and juniors, I think, already know they have a good idea of all the clubs we offer, so we certainly wanted to do the freshmen and sophomores first. So they'll get a good broad overview, and that's being run, that's totally student-driven. They've done an excellent job at that, and they're putting together all of those little packets for each individual club that they want to run to help answer questions that any students might have, and try to get as much interest around the clubs, and they're obviously trying to promote their clubs.
Sure.
Because they want high participation. So, I guess do you have any questions around what I've provided?
I think I believe I know the answer to this, but just for the public's benefit, for that $55 activity, the students can join any and all of the available clubs, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as their schedule permits.
Right.
Which is tough for some of our students because they're very, very active.
And they're all required to pay the fee, even if they don't participate, correct?
Yes, that is a requirement.
Okay.
That is a requirement. But a lot of the things, there are some benefits, like when SAB would bring in a guest speaker or something, that would be for the whole school, so that there are some benefits to students. They would reap some benefits
Oh, the
even if they didn't.
academic rally, all of, yeah.
There are some activities that even if a student did not join in a club, they would get some of the benefits. But we do have very high participation across the board in the clubs. That's one thing Lunenburg High School, they have a wonderful tradition. Ever since this is my 8th year, students are very involved in it, which is excellent. I mean, you can just tell by the floats. I was amazed when I was here, just the floats alone. I mean, it's a wonderful tradition. Lots of traditions.
Anybody else have any more questions for Mr. McGrath?
No.
No? I don't think so. No, thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Can we put this on the website?
Sure.
This is one of those things on Facebook. So then, we're going to go to athletic, correct? Mr. Bunnell, athletic director.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
I think everybody got the
Yes.
piece that I put together, correct?
Yep.
believe so.
And I added and updated with Dr. Brown today the updated participation for the fall.
Yes, there is.
Oh, okay, cool. Both of these, I hope are pretty straightforward. I tried to make it as easy to understand as possible. Does anyone have any questions, or?
No, I gotta look at them.
I have a question that...
Go right ahead.
From looking at this, from my having no children at the high school status, I don't know how much our athletic fee is.
$250 per sport.
$250 per student per sport, per student per year?
Per sport.
Per
And then
sport.
if there's multiple students in a family, it drops.
It drops down. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's $250 the first kid.
And I think it's 110 the second.
No, that's the third.
That's the third, 140. There's three different, I
Yeah, it's
apologize.
140 the second child, and then 110 the third.
The third child, okay.
Thank you.
Is there a family cap for us?
No,
No.
no,
Thanks,
because
Heather.
we reduce.
Okay.
Is that across the board for both high school and middle school?
Middle school
school
fees are
separate.
different.
Yeah.
The track and cross-country, those are considered activities.
Yeah, they're activities, not sports.
So they only pay the...
Activity fee.
The activity fee. And field hockey, which is new this year, they're self-sustaining, so
Right.
they paid a $200 user fee.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So highlight the differences.
You want to...
Yes. So that the.
So, user fees, it's a necessary evil, as in athletics. I guess the fortunate thing of being an athletic director in different districts, I've been able to experience and see, different user fees and how they are addressed. Very rarely, nowadays do you find districts being able to fund the entire athletic department. I did note that Clinton is trying that this year. They don't have user fees. I don't know how well that will work, but they're just trying it for this year. So up until this year, they've been paying user fees very similar to us. If you look around, some of the neighboring towns, Groton, Dunstable, they're $400 per student. They have a family cap of $1,200.
Is that an annual family cap, or is that per season?
That's for the year.
Okay.
But that family cap, if you have students in the high school and in the middle school, that family cap does not cross over.
Crossover. Yeah.
And if you have someone participating in ice hockey or ski, they get assessed separate things for ice time, for their ski pass.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that.
So there
Our
are-
fees doesn't, that's not hockey and skiing either.
No. I did like North Middlesex Regional there, when I was there, that fee increased at the time when I was there. That was my proposal, of what we settled on. There's $190 per student. There's no family cap there. Middle school sports are $100 per student. There is a late fee if you don't register after a certain time or before a certain time, which I think is a necessity, not more to generate revenue, but to get the paperwork that's needed in a timely manner. Bromfield, down the road, their user fees varies depending on the sport, but for the most part, the majority of them were in that $350, $375 area. With some of the other sports like cross-country, that's where the $260 came in. Air Shirley, $200 per student. Tingsboro, as Mr. McGrath had noted earlier, a comparable district to us, both size and demographic-wise, their user fees, they start at the high school for a sports, $300, then they go down if you play a second sports, $200, then a third sport, you're $100. The middle school fees are $200, then $175, then $150, and there's no family cap. Oakmont, again, down the road the other way, they're $285 per sport per season. They do not have a family cap, and that's also that same number as for the middle school students as well. Just to point out some of the things that the user fee goes towards, just in this district alone, what, in the month and a half that I've been here, it is worth noting that even though we do charge a user fee of $250, not everybody pays that $250. If you qualify for free and reduced lunch, you are not paying a user fee. If you are a family that has 2 or more, you're paying that reduced fee. So you can't just look at it and see a team that has 20 people on it and say that everybody's paying $250, where is all that money going towards? There could be 3 people that are qualified for the free and reduced lunch program. There could be 5 people that have a sibling as well. So those numbers, yes, it's very easy to look on the surface of what that number could be, but there's also underlying factors that people may not be aware of. Things just this year, of what the money has gone towards, the user fees, I am a very firm believer as an athletic director that people need to see where that money is going towards. A big piece of any user fee in any district is transportation. I can tell you, I just received the transportation bill for September athletics. It was $10,000. That's a huge number, and that number will probably be around the same, if not a little more, for the month of October. And then when winter season comes and so on and so forth. So that's a good chunk of that user fee is going towards the transportation to get people from point A to point B. Other things that people will see besides just the bus, all the teams, varsity, JV, and the middle school were purchased new first aid kits, fully stocked. That medical supplies was around $2,800 to comply with state mandate requirements that was passed in July, requiring portable AEDs to be within 2 minutes of activities. The district purchased 6, we got those in. That was $6,000. Other things, the turf field needed to be repaired. Due to a variety of different reasons, we had to call in RAD Sports, and they were very great, and we actually, that number that was there was an estimate. I came in a little lower, so I'm very happy with that. But it's still an $1,800 bill that wasn't expected, but again, what user fees can help cover the cost of. And then I put in athletic equipment purchases and reconditioning for fall sports at the tune of $20,000. Every year, the football helmets and pads, they go out and they get reconditioned to make sure that they're in working order, because I'm not, and I'm sure everybody else is on board with me, is with the world that we live in today, I'm not going to put a student athlete out there with faulty equipment. So I want to make sure that what they're using and what we have to offer them is in working order, so that we can provide them the best safe, so they hopefully don't get hurt. But
Sure.
In addition, there are costs that, like every year, like soccer, field hockey, both boys and girls, they get socks every year. They need new balls. There are things that go into that's across the board. Dr. Burnham and we had talked, and there are other things that we have purchased, some new benches for the fields, so now all our fields will have a place where both the home and away team can sit. Right now, we have some fields where you have to stand or sit on the grass. So, so a lot of that, like I said, I do like to see and show people that, what they're paying, it is going somewhere. And I like those things, I do like to note that this is what that user fee is going towards. Cheerleaders, they haven't had new pom-poms for a very long time. They're getting new pom-poms. So, it's not just one sport over the other, it's across the board. I take care of all my student athletes. I want them to all have the best experience possible, and it's my job to spend that money as wisely and effective as possible, so that, everybody can maximize and benefit from it. So, that's all I got.
And you'd provided us with some numbers on the groups. Is there anything?
So the update, the participation, Dr. Burnham had asked me in an email so the first time I had met with you guys earlier in, I think it was like the first week of September, you had received fall participation numbers based on the numbers that I had August 28th or something. I had to have a report due by, so this is now
Current.
basically, these are going to be your fall participation numbers. pending if anybody leaves, but we're halfway through the season now, and I don't think these are gonna change. You can notice there are some little differences, like cheer was down a student, golf stayed the same, girls soccer stayed the same, football, after the first couple weeks of tryouts, and kids realized that, oh my God, what am I getting into? We went down, we went down a few there. Field hockey stayed the same. Boys soccer went down a couple. Cross country went up 6. And then middle school numbers, which weren't on the report because those signups came a little bit after when the middle school students had started. They're currently in the middle school cross country activity program. There are 53 students participating there, and the new field hockey program, there are 33 students participating there. So from the numbers I gave you to today, we dropped 1 at the high school, and we gained 86 at the middle school. So overall, we have, if you were to look at the student body as a whole, we have 36% of the student body participating in athletics in the fall. To me, that's a great number because of what you also have to look at too, that number, some people might think, well, why not more? Based on what we're able to offer for athletics, that I think that's a healthy number. And if you were to break it down even a little further, the high school participation is almost at 43%. So you're looking close to half of the kids in the high school are participating in something, an athletic sport after school. To me, that's what you want to see. You'd always love to see that number bigger, but when the kids are participating in athletics and with the coaches that we have, they're in a place where they're going to learn something, they're going to benefit, but more importantly, they're in a safe place, and hopefully being on a team and being involved keeps them away from being in a position to have to make a tough decision. And the more that we can offer and provide for these kids to keep them away from having to be in those situations to make decisions, I think the better off those kids are going to be.
So is there any thought at this point of modifying these activity fees? Or are we just sharing this information?
No, we were just sharing.
We were just sharing.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything, now I'm starting to look at the budget and preparing that for my next deadline, I think it's in November. My little bulletin board above my desk.
I'll remind you.
But we'll address that as it comes, as we're going along right now. Things, for the most part, are operating pretty smoothly from, what we have and what I've been given, so we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, sir.
If we get to it.
There you go.
So, no other questions?
Nope.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
I was gonna say, right.
All right.
Okay.
Which is B,
Oh,
right?
yeah, these things. Okay. So, sports you're gonna propose, co-ops.
Co-ops.
Yep.
So when I first arrived here, in late July, early August, it didn't take some people too long to reach out to me and express interest that their child's had in a couple sports that Lunenburg currently did not offer. One of them happened to be girls ice hockey, and fortunately, Leominster, our neighboring town, city, they have a girls ice hockey program where they need to co-op in order to fill a team. At the request of a couple parents and some students that stopped by my office, I reached out to Leominster. They were very excited and happy to have our girls join, pending you guys giving me the go-ahead for that. The breakdown would be, it's the same, that basically would operate the same way as boys ice hockey. The user fee would be $250. With the boys ice hockey, they also pay an assessment of $575, which goes towards ice time. And so that would be the same for the girls. Boys ice hockey, the practices, they get to practice on their own, and when they have a home game at the Civic Center, their transportation is on their own. The girls would that would apply to the girls as well. If they were traveling to an away game that's not at the Civic Center, the way Leominster worked it, especially when I was at North Middlesex and North Middlesex joined the co-op, they met at a central location, so it was more for those people that are familiar with Leominster Fitchburg, the Kmart Plaza, because the co-op involved so many different schools, it was better to meet there and easier for people to get to for those away trips. I have spoken to a couple of parents who actually graciously came out tonight, and they seem very excited about the opportunity for their daughters to be participating. I hope that you guys feel the same way as I do. Again, it's one of those things where we're given the opportunity to offer something that right now, as Lunenburg itself can offer, but we're able to get 2 more students of ours that normally wouldn't be participating in a winter sport at Lunenburg, now the opportunity to do so.
At least 2 students.
At least 2 students. I mean, there could be more. For ice hockey anyways, I know there's 2 families here right now, so I could definitely count on 2, I think. And then the next cooperative team it goes along with Leominster as well. This would be the last year, I believe, it will be with Leominster. Leominster co-ops with Monty Tech, Fitchburg, and North Middlesex for swim, for both boys and girls. They practice at Fitchburg State University in their pool. Their home meets are at Fitchburg State University, which is right down the street. The same, it's very similar to the girls co-op with ice hockey. The transportation to the home, to practices and home meets would be on their own, and again, they would find, sometimes they pick up at Monty Tech or Leominster, but those details can be worked out later for away meets, and that user fee would be the $250, the same as all of our other sports. The other thing with swimming, because of the nature of the sport, they do require the students or the athletes to purchase their swimwear every year. So that's an additional fee to the $250, which they just all get matching bathing suits.
Oh, okay. Did you say who else, the girls' hockey team?
Girls ice hockey, their co-op, so it probably is gonna change a little bit. It's Leominster's the host school. North Middlesex is also participating. They send girls. Air Shirley, I believe, will be sending girls this year, which is kind of cool because we co-op with the boys. So Bromfield, I believe, sends somebody as well. And there's one other school. There used to be Quabbin, but that girl, I believe, has graduated. I believe there's one more school that does set, I think it could be either AMSA or, which is Advanced Math and Science in Marlboro, or Parker Charter. One of those charter schools, I believe, sends some students as well. With girls ice hockey, that predominantly the schools in Central Mass, it's one of those sports where unfortunately not a lot of schools can sustain a program on their own. So schools like even Shrewsbury, which is a very large school, they co-op with Wachusett, which is another very large school district, and I believe Neshoba as well, to form their girls ice hockey team. Algonquin, which is Northborough, Southborough, they co-op with Westborough and Hudson to form their girls ice hockey team. So it's very rare in Central Mass to find a school that can sustain its own program. Even Oakmont, which originally was part of the Leominster Co-op several years back, they were able to go off on their own, but I believe they co-op with Monty Tech in Fitchburg.
So with all these collections of co-ops, there are enough places to play games.
Correct.
All in the general.
In the general area, girls ice hockey, they do have to travel. More of the girls ice hockey teams are out in Eastern Mass, and there are some out in Western Mass, so they do have to commute for some games. I know one of the teams that they play would be Long Meadow. As other ones would be Austin Prep in Peabody. So that some of them are a little bit of a distance, but that's unfortunately the kind of the nature of
Nature of
the,
it.
so.
It provides an opportunity for our girls to participate in something that they wouldn't have.
Correct.
Otherwise.
And the same with swimming, hopefully, you know, there are.
How many kids with swimming?
The girls that I know of was at least 8. And then one girl that I spoke with, she said, when they had an interest meeting last year, with Mr. Spadafino, she said there was 20 students that were interested. I don't know if all 20 of those will come out. That would be wow. But she said it was 20. It was a collection of both boys and girls. She didn't have specific numbers on both, and in the stuff that I was left, I didn't have anything regarding that information, so, but, you know, if we get 10, I think that'd be a very solid and healthy number to even offer, you know, another 10 kids an opportunity that they normally wouldn't have. So, with your blessing, I would love to email the Leominster Athletic Director tomorrow morning and say, my school committee is in full support and we'd love to hop on if we can.
One question before
ahead,
that. For the transportation, since it's that co-op, how does the finances on that work out?
So, the co-op fee, the assessment the way that Leominster does it is that they'll take the total cost of the program and divide it by the number of participants. So last year for girls ice hockey, the actual cost was $730 per athlete. So if you were to put our two numbers together, where the same with, right, yeah. The same with swim. They take the total cost of what it costs to rent the pool and the transportation, and usually the coaches are covered by the host school. But if they build everything in, it's divided by, so I think swim was just, it was like 217, give or take. So it's one of those things where it could go up, it could go down a little bit. It's all dependent on the number of participants.
So relative to the reduced athletic fee for the 250, that's if they're eligible for the free and reduced lunch, that 250 would be waived.
Correct.
But the 575 would still be required.
Correct.
Okay.
So I recommend that we, of course, approve this.
So I would make a motion that I would make a motion that we vote on this subject.
Yes, you're right. We need to, because that's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda for a vote.
Yeah.
So I'll make a recommendation, or
You're going to make a motion to
I will
vote.
move that we vote.
I'll second his motion that we take a vote. Aye.
All right. So now I'll take a motion. to
And
vote.
I will make a motion to accept both the girls' ice hockey and the co-op swim team.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, and on behalf of the student athletes, I thank you as well.
Go type up the email.
Good,
Thank you.
good luck to the teams.
Thank you for coming and presenting.
Oh, no problem. Thank you guys very much.
So now it is Waterville Valley. Mr. Short.
Speaking of hockey.
Ice hockey.
How you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Doing great.
Gonna have another win this year?
We hope so. That's what we hope so
Another
every
sign
year.
added
Yeah,
to
another
the-
sign. There's more entrances to Lunenburg. All right, so I'm here tonight to present once again the Waterville Valley hockey trip. I was actually trying to figure out this afternoon when I was thinking about what I was gonna say tonight, how long the trip has been going, and it's interesting, Casey McNally, one of our new teachers, he went on the first trip that we ever did in 2005, so I figured out through that, so that's where it started. In 2005, we went to Lake Placid, with the idea that, we were Lunenburg Air back then. We wanted to have a trip that set our program apart and got the kids from the two different schools together, and, you know, just a preseason training camp. They're a little bit common in ice hockey, where you would go to a destination and train and like have a bonding weekend, you know, at the start of the season. So that's where it kicked off. We went to Albany, New York, and then at some point we ended up in Waterville Valley, and it's been the Waterville Valley, New Hampshire. It's a perfect location. We're able to take a charter bus up, we get dropped off, everything's in walking distance. The hotel to the rink is closer than here to the senior center. So it's perfect. We've been there, I think, in Waterville for the past 10 years. It's a great experience for the kids. If you have the itinerary, you see they're very busy. So we have a lot of team bonding, we have meetings, we take care of a lot of the stuff that we need to at the beginning of the season. We have time, you know, just with the coaches and the kids and the captains. And we get a ton of ice time right out of the gate. I think it's a big benefit to our program. The kids look forward to it more than I can even imagine. You know, a lot of these kids have played hockey their whole lives. They've traveled all over the country, all over New England. For whatever reason, just getting on a bus with their high school team and going to Waterville for a couple nights is like a huge thing. So luckily, the boosters and the alumni have supported it. So it's cost-free to all the players. The only thing they need is just a little bit of spending money if they even want it. It's the same format. We will be taking a charter. We'll be staying Friday, Saturday night, and then we'll be back Sunday afternoon and playing in the Jamboree on Sunday evening in Fitchburg.
Busy weekend.
Yeah, yep, it's a busy weekend. Good way to start things off. And
Good kickoff.
it is a good kickoff. So, you know, we would obviously like your support again, and answer any questions you might have about the trip.
Have any questions?
Do you have any questions?
No.
No questions?
No.
No. We can just vote on it. It says approval, correct?
Take a motion
If you
to
feel
Yeah,
that you
I'll
have
take a
all the
motion.
information that you need
Well,
to...
yeah. this-
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the Waterville Valley hockey trip as outlined.
I can second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I did want to just take a second too, because this is the first time I've been back since we won the championship.
big win.
I just wanted to thank publicly the alumni for the generosity after the championship. I brought tonight the rings to show you guys. The kids, every player, every coach, even the team manager got a ring, sweatshirt, hat. It was like a total of,
Not for the superintendent?
that's,
We got the biggest fans that were like at every
the next
game.
time, next one.
Like, seriously. That's huge.
So
This is like a,
Patriots.
it really is.
the,
is
all of this stuff is, you know, as soon as we won, there's all of a sudden you have huge expenses. So, the rings, the sweatshirts, the hats, all that, with the help of the alumni, and some businesses in town, the kids only had to spend $50 for probably $400 worth of stuff. The, one donor in particular, the Connor Lawrence Foundation, the golf tournament, they matched, whatever foursomes we put into their tournament this summer. So they donated between $4,000 and $5,000. The Bacasa family, his company matched through work, and he donated to both our booster club, and we passed some on to the basketball booster club. And just endless local businesses and our hockey alumni stepped up and made those donations, and it made it possible for all those kids to get that stuff. So I just wanted to say thank you, and very grateful for everyone.
And who put up the signs?
The signs were the state reps.
Oh, really?
Yep. We went and saw the governor, we met the
Yeah, I
governor.
remember
Yeah. There was a banquet tour for a good month. But yeah, the signs were the state reps. Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Jen Benson and Dean Tran.
Yep, and we also, because AIR, I think, is in the other district.
Yeah, it is.
So they were, they helped with the governor, too. We had a lot of photo ops at the governor because we were with different reps, so. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sure was exciting.
Oh, Extended Day Early Learning Center. Are you both coming up? Sure. Come on up. Mrs. Perry, Mrs. Queen.
Hello. Did you get this handout? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so basically, we did meet with Superintendent Burnham for about 3 hours with our challenges and concerns of our program.
Yep. Sure.
And with the outcome, this is like really the first time ever that we're gonna ask for this recommendation. We're concerned that with only 5 weeks into the school year, we've already have our numbers at the primary school, 80+, Turkey Hill, 60+. We have space that we're dealing with, but sometimes it's taken away from us with different things that they need it for in the district. So we have to take those numbers that would be in that space, spread them out in the additional space that we have. So basically, it's gonna be short and sweet, and within those numbers too, 6% of them come with, to our program that have support during the school day, and they don't have support in our program.
Right.
So it's a challenge staffing. Superintendent Burnham came up with some wonderful ideas that she's looking into for staffing, because since we are still a self-sustaining program, more staff we bring on is more cost that's coming out of our account, and that makes it dwindle. So we have to maintain the current staff, put funds back into the program to update with supplies, because it's all funded from this one self-sustaining program. So as you can see, our numbers combined are at 283 with only 5 weeks into the school year. So we are looking for a recommendation tonight. Like I said, that's never happened, of capping for the first time ever.
And I brought this up.
You did.
moved
You did. You said, "But do you think you'd ever have to cap?" And I said, we were hoping we would never.
No.
You know, but the other concern is space going forward. We talked about, you know, is we're gonna have to move at the end of this year? Are we gonna have to move at the end of the next year? Because there's just, the district is growing, and we're getting whittled out of all the space that we can be in. So where are we gonna fall in the future? You know, my question one time to Superintendent Burnham was, will they ever do away with the extended day program? Because there's no space for us anymore. You know, that's a concern in the back of my head. You know, it's a big need for the town.
Oh, yeah.
Huge need.
But the location is getting more and more challenging to find a place for us,
Especially this big.
especially this
With
big.
the size that you
Yeah,
have.
so that's why we're asking for a cap of 80 at the primary school, 60 at the Turkey Hill, starting, if you approve tonight, that we will not be taking registrations as of tomorrow. They would be put on a waiting list. Because like Superintendent Burnham commented in the meeting, is like, when it was just gonna be of us corralling children, just to try to keep them safe.
Right.
Right.
And it is for the safety, security, and the quality of the program. We want to keep it and maintain it, you know, because we do, you know, people do speak highly of our program, and we want to keep it that way. So that's what we're asking for, as a recommendation for as of right now. And then next, we'll probably like to come back in January or early spring for more recommendations going forward.
Okay.
Into next school year.
So this doesn't mean that at the 81st student that comes in that day that you have to say, sorry.
No, this is gonna be like, as of right now, like, we have as-needed registrations too, so these numbers are not these numbers every single day.
Right.
So some of these numbers are what's on their registration form. So we have to go by that and expect those kids to be here, because those are the days the parents signed them up for.
Okay.
But that changes daily, because some are as needed, so they add it on. Some are taking off of these registrations because they have a doctor's appointment, they have other activities going on. So those numbers will fluctuate, but our numbers have been 80 plus. So we're not going to stop the people that are using it now, like we're going to still have to take those as-needed kids and add them to these numbers, but it's going to be the new registrations. Like if somebody calls me and said, I'd like to register my child, you know, and I'm going to have to say we're capped, I can put you on a waiting list, but as of right now, we're full.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Clubs does that too.
Right, yeah, well,
Okay.
we've been forced to do that,
Yeah, so like I said, this is the first time.
Well, it's, you know, they're both a very popular program.
Yes,
And-
yes.
and,
Absolutely.
They're great options for
Mm-hmm.
parents, and
Yes.
They're not expensive.
And
No,
they're not
no,
expensive.
no. And I understand the concern of the
Yeah.
parents, and unfortunately, if they move into town and they need us, but where do we stop?
Right.
For the safety and the security of these kids. It's challenging.
that has to be the concern.
Yes, and it's hard to staff from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, working in a large group of kids, never mind trying to find staff to work with the one-on-one children, you know, that need that extra support in the
Right.
program. So it's been very challenging this year because our numbers grew so fast, so quickly, you know, so, and that was our recommendation for tonight. So
Yeah, and we
I-
also have that huge kindergarten.
and that's the thing, we're upstairs in the second grade academic wing, so when kindergarten goes upstairs, they're gonna need the extra classrooms, and then when they go to second grade, they're gonna need that classroom, so where are we gonna fall in the future? You know, so,
We'll definitely
Yeah,
be
yeah.
doing a space analysis.
For that. Okay, so
And I
you,
mean, obviously, we've had conversation too, that the second floor classroom space is not the optimal space.
not for preschoolers,
little ones,
not for my
so-
early learning center. We haven't had a fire drill yet with them because our early learning center started the week after school started from when they had the fire drill.
right,
But like I shared with her, they can't even alternate feet on the steps going down the stairs to
'Cause
get
they're
out at a
little.
timely. Yeah, they're 3 and 4. You know, so they're tiny.
It takes a while.
Yeah, so it's gonna be challenging to get out of the building in a timely manner.
Sure.
To meet the fire, you know, fighters, you know, time frame to get out of the building safely. So,
I'm glad your program is so valuable and loved in this
Yeah.
community, but clearly that data
It's-
is showing that it's,
yeah, it's growing. It's
at its
definitely
peak
growing.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, so, I don't know if you have any questions for me going forward, but I know, like I said, we'll come back
No, no.
at a later date with more concerns after speaking and meeting with you. So,
yeah, so we need to vote, again.
This is a vote to vote.
It's a vote to vote because it was just an update, but they
Right.
need us to
Oh,
approve a cap.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's gonna have to get out to the public by tomorrow to let
So
them know.
I need a
Then
motion to
I
vote.
will make a motion that we vote on this
Cap.
recommendation
Okay.
for the cap.
I'll second that
All in
motion.
favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Right.
Thank
Okay, so
you.
now I need a motion to cap.
Yeah, as painful as it is, because I hate to see anybody get turned away.
Yeah, I know, like I said,
But you want them safe.
I want to make a move, yeah, I move to accept the cap. It's a matter of safety,
Yeah, so it's 80 and 60.
80 and 60, primary
Yeah.
and tertiary.
All right,
yes.
I'll second that motion to cap the primary at 80 and the Turkey Elementary at 60 students.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Superintendent Burnham said she'll take the flack from the parents who, that we have to turn
It
away.
does really come down to a safety issue.
Yes, yes.
And I have
yes.
no doubt that as we move forward, she's going to be looking for solutions.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
definitely, definitely. And this might just be a one-year thing. It could change,
Right.
depending,
Yeah.
you know. But we have to like really think about where we can be housing our space for our kids, even our early learning center, you know, because this is like our 7th school year with them, and that's very popular too right now. The only time I've ever had to advertise for that was the very first year we started it. Now it's all word of mouth and we fill up.
Oh, yeah,
you
parents
know,
are asking
so,
about it
yeah,
already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, on Facebook,
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah,
They wanna
and
know
I've
when.
already turned people away for this year because I just,
Yeah.
those numbers are full, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
You never know. If we had the right space, we might have a second class.
Right, exactly, yeah. We might have a second class if we had the right space. But, okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, and so we'll get that message out to the public by tomorrow.
Yeah, let's touch base with Liz in the morning.
Okay.
Should we
Got
get
it.
that
All
in
right.
the right location?
Okay, great, thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks.
You too.
Okay, superintendent goals.
Okay.
Go over the draft that you sent out.
Yes, so you have a draft of 3 goals. In educator goal language.
Yeah. It's all
It is.
I'll summarize it in more layman's terms, I guess. Basically, the goals as outlined here would have me executing on my entry plan process, as I outlined in August. Continuing to implement the district strategic plan.
Yep.
Right. And largely focusing on goals by getting into classrooms, looking at evaluation practices, how are we executing on goals that are parts of educator plans, administrators, educator plans, et cetera, and come back with a report of progress on a variety of goals. And lastly, in the realm of a professional practice goal, I would be continuing to participate in the new superintendent's induction program. And you can see the way I've outlined it for all of you. I hope that this makes it easy for when the time comes for you to move through the evaluation process from your perspective. The benchmarks all include a notation as to some of the artifacts that would be coming out of the process, so that you
Very
know what
helpful.
you're gonna be
Very
looking
Very helpful.
for from me as a result.
Yes.
So do those
Yep.
make sense in the big
Oh,
picture?
yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, format.
Would there be other things you would rather me working on?
No?
No,
Like it's
no,
I think that's a very full plate.
we would- Yeah, we have a very full plate.
I know.
You know, you've got, now now you get to deal with some space issues.
Yes, always finding solutions.
But, no, I mean, I think those are sufficient for now.
For the year,
For the year, I
this
mean,
year,
we're,
absolutely.
you know, you're helping us with our goals too.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a
Yes.
segue into the next topic? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so with these goals,
we don't need to approve anything about it, you're just updating us.
yeah, but can we put them on the
I can take the draft watermark off
Yes.
if you're satisfied with
Yeah.
them as they are.
and then put them on the
On the
website,
website,
please?
yes.
Okay.
I'm satisfied with them, that's the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good, it was a segue into our,
It was, yeah, because ours is next.
Well done.
I don't have the agenda in front of me, I didn't. print
No,
that
the next
out,
is
but everything
school
else is
committee
electronic.
goals.
Yep.
So, school committee goals. From our school committee workshop, where we discussed our goals. And everybody.
That was a very productive
That
workshop,
was-
by the way.
It was very
It was,
productive.
yes, it was. So we had our goals to increase community awareness of school committee role. We have actions and benchmarks in there as well as how we're going to monitor that and take the pulse of the community to see what they think our role actually is. And if we educate them a little more, how they'll see us at the end of the year. Or 2 years. Did we say it was 2 years? This one's 1 year.
This one was one.
This
year.
one
Yeah,
is
1 year.
October of next.
Okay,
Yeah, sharing it with the community in October. Finishing it
so
by the
that's
summer.
goal number 1. Goal number 2 is approach the budget process with impact on teaching and learning as the focus. So, and that goal says, in order to ensure that resources are allocated to achieve highest impact on teaching and learning, the governance team, committee, and superintendent will implement a new transparent approach to budget development for fiscal year '20. The fiscal year '20 budget will, 1, be developed by the district leadership team through a collaborative process. 2, incorporate prioritized requests with justifications. 3, be submitted to the committee by the superintendent. 4, be approved by the committee following an opportunity to ask questions of department and building leaders following the superintendent's budget presentations. So that, we're going to try a different way of handling our budget this year. That's more collaborative.
Yes.
As opposed to adversarial.
Well, and
For our leaders.
it's based on need, not,
Yes.
Need for the
One.
district
not
throughout.
a number plus.
Right.
Percent.
From
or-
last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's, and that's where we're talking about the justifications.
Yeah.
Everything on there has to be justified.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's goal 2.
And you could always take this goal and create a second-year version of it if you decide that that's warranted at the end of
At the
this
end of-
first year.
Right, right.
Yes. Take a look at how it went this year and where it would need to go the next year.
Correct.
8 weeks, yeah. Absolutely.
And then goal 3 is to develop and adopt operating protocols. In order to increase efficiency of school committee meetings, the committee will draft, implement, revise as needed, and adopt operating protocols by April of 2019.
Which is why we're sitting down here.
Yes, this is
This is
what we're
why we're
trying.
This is
down
one of
here.
the,
Yes.
We're testing out.
You like it?
you'll see us
We're
testing
trying
out some new things. Yeah.
We want to have faster meetings and get more accomplished, things that actually fall within the school committee's jurisdiction as well.
Correct.
There you go.
So those are our goals. Did anybody have comments?
No, I thought, Dr. Burney did a great job typing up all those notes in that workshop, because we were just flying fast and
And furious.
furious with the ideas, and I think you did a great job capturing them for us.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yes.
Yep, thank you.
And I went back to the notes that they had given us from our
sticky
previous,
notes.
from the
Yep.
previous workshop, and I went through and highlighted, and there are several things that these 3 goals clarify or help us improve upon
Right.
from that workshop as
From
well. Right, our brainstorming session and for
MASC
that.
workshop.
Yeah,
So,
feeling good about that.
I think we need to approve these. Just post them, correct? Or do we, I thought we did.
I thought we needed to approve our goals.
We do, ours.
We did last year, I thought,
So
but it's been a year and I don't remember.
all the meetings roll together.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt if we
It
approved
can't.
them,
That's
if
fine.
we voted
But
to approve them.
We have to
right?
vote to approve them.
You're getting good at this.
I get good at this. I make a motion to vote to approve our.
Vote to vote.
Our school
No,
committee
you have to
goals.
vote to vote
Or-
on it.
Yeah, to vote,
yeah,
a motion
okay.
to vote to approve,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I need another motion.
Now, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the school committee goals as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and these can go up on the website under the school committee section, right?
Yes.
And then we've got to get to work on them.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think
Protocols.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
they're really good.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
and the next, for action, donations, do we have donations?
Oh, excellent.
So this evening, you have 2 donations to consider. The first is a scholarship provided by Mr. Steve Johnson, who is a parent of a Lunenburg High School senior. This would be for a staff member to attend Creating a Culture of Safety conference. This conference will be on October 16th, and at this time, guidance counselor Jeff Dion will be attending. The second donation is the 2018 Subaru Loves Learning book donation. Turkey Hill Elementary School has been selected as the recipient. And then as a result, they will be receiving 150 donated books for their school.
So is there any additional information on this Creating a Culture of Safety conference?
Yeah, what is that?
It's It really gets at the mental health, social, emotional, behavioral kinds of safety more so than the physical plant
Right.
safety aspect.
So more of a mental.
Yes, yep. You know, creating that safe learning environment conference.
And how did we select our guidance counselor to
Well, I
attend
asked,
this?
I asked all of the principals if they had one person that they would recommend attend. And there was some conversation, and both Tim Santry and Rob McGrath, principals of the middle and high school, felt that Jeff would be a really good candidate to send. We're doing an awful lot, and I can speak more to this at another meeting, but there's an awful lot of opportunity out there, meetings of groups, formal, informal, conferences, et cetera, around the topic of social, emotional, behavioral, mental health. And we're going to come forward with a more cohesive way to approach making sure that we have folks that can be present at many of these things and bring that information back in a way that can be processed for us to make good decisions about how we should be moving forward, given the different resources and new knowledge that we're able to attain out and about. And this would be, you know, one of those really great examples of a staff member going out to a conference and bringing information back to help us make some decisions how to move forward to support the district in this way.
Would it be appropriate to invite Mr. Down to come back?
After the
Here
conference?
after the conference
Sure.
and kind of fill us in on what it was? So that we can see if that's something that we can look for funding in the future, if it's something that,
Sure.
that is helpful.
Well, one of the ways in which the budget might look a little bit different moving forward, I would like to have a professional development line in the budget at the district level. Currently, the professional development monies are assigned in a line item at each of the school buildings for, you know, efforts in professional development targeted to the needs of their staff. If we had a district-level professional development budget, if we had initiatives like this tied to our strategic plan, because this would be tied to our strategic plan, I could send a team to conferences like this for that purpose. So, definitely.
For this one, is there already a plan in place for how he's going to bring back what he's learned to the staff, or is that going to be included in a future, like when others have gone to other things?
So, just to give you a preview of what I'm thinking of forming a council of sorts around behavioral and mental health. They would become the district leadership team on that targeted area. They would help assess our current need, assess available resources outside of the district, assess professional development need, make a recommendation so that we can have a multi-year plan start to emerge. And it would be truly helpful to have a multi-year plan when we get to budget as well. You know, because then it's clear and we can see projected out a year or two or three, the types of supports that we might need to be incorporating into the budget, whether that be professional development, curriculum purchases, additional staff, memberships to organizations that we would, you know, send staff to be a part of. But certainly, he would be able to come back and hopefully I have that team put together pretty quickly. It's still in the planning stages. I'm still talking to a few people to bring them into the fold a bit. But there are some people, honestly, across the district in a variety of roles that are really excited about this kind of work. So hopefully I'll be coming back to you soon with some information about a new team that will help lead the district on this front.
Great.
Very good news. Can I make a motion?
please.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to accept the donations by Mr. Steve Johnson and the 2018 Subaru Loves Learning book donation with our gratitude.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, old business. Quebec trip, Miss Beard.
Bonjour.
Bonsoir.
Tu ne parles pas français?
Vous parlez très bien le français, je crois.
Many years.
I don't know what you're saying because I only speak Spanish.
So I'm the French teacher at the high school, Jessica Beardmore. Thank you for taking the time to hear me. I'm proposing a trip to Quebec for February of 2019.
You already
this year.
proposed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is the second, yeah, you've come to us already.
No.
No?
No,
Why is this final approval?
well, so typically,
In the spring?
no.
No?
No, so I submitted the paperwork for approval, but I've never been before the school
okay.
committee.
Okay.
Right. I was here in the spring because we went to Europe,
Yeah, but
which was a
that's-
fabulous trip,
Right.
and happened in the end of
You've
June
gone
into
to
July.
Quebec in the past.
Correct.
We're just suffering deja vu, apparently.
Like, all of the meetings are just a little together.
We're stuck behind the desk.
So I've
It's
been,
an old business, though. It should have been a new business. Yeah.
sorry.
We thought you were old.
It's okay. I don't think that's a bad
It says
thing.
final approval, though. But that, you'll be coming to us again, then.
I have to,
Yeah.
in terms of what's been done in the past,
Yeah.
typically, we're supposed to come back again
Right.
one
Right
more
before.
time
Before-
before to
okay.
update on specifics of,
So
transportation.
tell us about this new one.
So it's essentially the same trip I've been doing for the, I've been in the district for 14 years, and I've been trying to include Quebec in our travels for numerous reasons. I mean, it's a wonderful place to visit. It's the most European city in all of North America. It's the only walled city north of Mexico, which, goes back to its historical roots, and obviously they speak French and they're 5 hours away, and so by bus. It's also, there's a financial reason I like to offer the trip as well. We do European trips, but those can run, $3,000 and $4,000, even more at times. And I do this trip typically in an off year for not traveling to France. Partially because it's a shorter trip, it's only 4 days, so it's not so daunting to students that have never traveled away from home before, and it's also, anywhere from a third to a quarter of the cost of a European trip. And so it's open to more students financially who can afford it. I realize that $1,000, which is it's a little over that, is still a significant amount of money. But it's more possible, I guess, to more families. It's a very cultural trip. We go during Carnaval, which is Quebec's answer to Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, except it happens, in the freezing cold in February.
What are the dates again? February?
January 31st to February 3rd, and the reason it doesn't occur over February vacation is because Carnaval is over at that time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so the trip itself really embraces the pastimes of the French Canadians, and we go sledding. It's a toboggan ride, actually, that overlooks the St. Lawrence River, right next to the Chateau Frontenac. We go snowshoeing, we go dog sledding, and that's quite an experience because it's just 2 students with 8 dogs in front of you, and they control everything, and we have lessons prior to and all that as to how to do it. We go tubing, and we don't have any kind of tubing around here that's on par with what they offer in Quebec. You know, they have these giant, like, whitewater rafting kinds of devices to go to, and they have, you know, the individual tubing, which is what you see around here. They have these giant round ones that spin, that go all the way down. And the idea behind this, there's more activities too, but I don't want to go on and take all your time. But the idea is just to show students that, you know, the French Canadians have this joie de vivre, this joy of living. They embrace winter, and it's colder there than it is here, and yet they see all these, you know, crowds of people dressed in their snowsuits from head to toe, sometimes outside dancing to music, you know, at 8 o'clock at night in the dark, and we've done that before, and, you know, or dancing with French Canadians outside. The same thing when we're at the tubing park. There's French Canadian families around us. We go to a sugar shack, so they get to learn about the production of maple syrup and enjoy the traditional meal of a sugar shack, like they would have, you know, 100 years ago. It's not really quite the same now, but they get to hear some traditional French Canadian music, and we play the wooden spoons typically. It's actually, I love Europe. It's incredible. It changed my life personally, but this trip is the most fun, I think. And the kids usually, by the end of the trip, even the kids that aren't outdoor kids and aren't athletic, say, why don't I go outside more when I'm at home? And I frequently hear that. We also get to see, they have actual races and all kinds of events, and there's this famous canoe race on the St. Lawrence River, and the idea is these people have these, well, they call them crampons, they're like, I don't know, what do you call them? They're like these little things that
in your shoes?
Like hiking boots for the wind spikes, yes. They wear these spikes, and so they have to, you know, run over these blocks of ice in the St. Lawrence, and then all of a sudden they're back in the water, and they're paddling, and then they're back up on the ice, and you can literally hear the ice, and then we're freezing, and we're head to toe, and we're watching these people out in the water, and they just like, these people are crazy, you know? But it's just, again, this idea of embracing the climate that they live in, you know, and we visit an ice hotel as well, which is like a 8-week phenomena, and we don't stay there, but we go visit, and they're usually wowed by the ice. Everything is ice at this ice hotel. So the cost is $11.13 after they pay $50. It says $10.63. It's a little tricky on the form. It looks like the cost is $10.63, but the way it's written, I point that out to parents. It includes everything except lunches and anything they want to purchase that while we're there, but all the activities that I've mentioned are all included in the cost. We have tried to combine with other schools in the past. That's unfortunately something that increases the cost, because we don't get, you know, large numbers of students. The more students you have going on the trip, the less expensive the trip is. But it just, I tried, and it didn't work out this time. So that's the trip. The kids are excited about it. I think I tried 2 years ago to do this, and I don't think we were going to we need to get 10 to run the trip. And I didn't think we were going to get it. And obviously if I send the money in, then the kids are committed. So I held on to it, and we didn't go. But I think this time, where we skipped, you know, last 2 years ago, I think they'll be excited to go. Oh, and one last thing, normally I only open the trip to French students 9 through 12, and this is something I'm proposing, is that I allow former French students to attend the trip. Numerous reasons for that is, one big one is, unfortunately, being a small high school, we have a lot of singletons, and this past year, my 8th grade class of 23 went down to like 7 with because there was a conflict between band and French. And so these students love band too, and they loved French, and they chose band, and that's, you know, a choice that they had to make. But they're still excited about French. They're taking Latin right now. It's not that I'm trying to pull them out of Latin. They're actually in my class.
So you're talking about kids that are still in school?
school not graduated former students.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, no, not.
I thought you were
That's where my
going
mind
with.
went.
No, 9 through 12 former
Okay.
French students
Okay.
still.
That is where I wanted to know.
Oh, no. And there's also other students that, get to be juniors and seniors, and they've fulfilled their graduation requirement, but want to start to take these wonderful electives, like in art and science that we offer, et cetera, because they're going into those fields. But I am a huge proponent of lifelong learning, and these kids don't necessarily have to be done with French. They might go on later, and having that firsthand experience of what it's like to be in a place where people speak another language, I think is a wonderful seed to plant for later.
So
That's my proposition.
The 10 was your minimum. Do you have a maximum?
No,
How many chaperones per?
1 per 10.
One per 10,
So-
okay.
So I'm suspecting it'll just be me, but there is a price for adults that's slightly more. I don't think it's listed there. Sometimes I do get a parent that would like to come, but I can't predict
Or a school
that.
committee member?
But
Go look up my roots.
My son might be able to help you recruit
oh,
as part of his high school experience. He went to Carnival, I think, 2, maybe 3 of his 4 years of high school.
oh wow, they went every year. Wow, that's incredible.
We went to a very large high school, so.
I sometimes have students, when I am able to offer it every 2 years, that will go both times, because it's just such a fun trip, so.
It's a great place.
It is, I love it.
Any other questions?
No, she's answered all my questions.
So I just need a motion, oh.
No motion.
No
No,
motion,
because-
no action.
Back in,
Yeah.
so,
So we can,
But we need the initial approval, so then she
Initial
can
approval.
advertise with the
Yeah.
students and,
the cost and everything, so, okay. Well, it's on here for approval, just
Right.
not initial. Do we have to take a vote?
I don't know that we need to take a vote to vote on initial, but the agenda did say final.
Right.
but Doesn't hurt to
No.
make a.
Make
okay,
another
we'll
motion.
Make another motion to vote
vote on
on
the initial.
an initial proposal for the trip to Quebec.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now I need a real approval. Motion.
I'll make the motion. I make the motion for an initial approval of the trip to Quebec Carnival.
I'll second.
All in favor?
We,
We.
merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.
That was me. Hold
audience getting into it now.
on. So now we're on to the second reading of the policy numbers. Did we get any feedback on any of the policies when they were posted?
Well, I still have, so actually.
You still have an issue. You have one part.
But my issues, I've thought about this and.
Okay.
It's.
Which
it's
policy were we
These,
thinking about?
6505.
Okay.
So
Is
the
it in the
policy
packet?
is about the agenda format. Right?
Wait, which one are you on?
6505.
Do I have it in my packet?
You do.
Agenda format.
Hold on,
OBB,
hold on.
policy 6505 revised.
I know, look. Is it in the beginning of the packet?
What's under OB? If you.
I don't know what view you have.
Back to the,
Old business.
In mine, it was the last of the 4 or 5.
It is the last of the.
In the way it came out in the
Ah,
packet.
okay, last of the 4? Okay.
Or 5, whatever it was.
Okay.
So, the policy is about the format,
That's not the one.
which doesn't necessarily correspond with distributing and posting and providing the details to the school committee. That's more of a, that isn't a format. Right? Or am I,
Oh, my gosh.
So is your concern about the heading of that
Well-
policy?
well, I guess my concern is, does this piece need to even be included in this policy on the format of the agenda?
Well, only because it says the agenda, together with supporting materials, will be distributed to the committee members.
But it has nothing to do with the format of the agenda. The format of your agenda is, we're going to provide a public comment space, we're going to talk about old business, we're going to talk about new business, we're going to,
Well, maybe it
Right.
just should say, I don't know, I guess agenda maybe.
or is that covered by the 6501,
Notification.
the regular meetings? Or is it covered by another policy? What, I'm just thinking that,
Do you want us to pull this and talk about it again at our subcommittee meeting?
well, if the header is about the agenda,
The timing of the
To be clear,
posting.
the
Okay.
timing of the posting doesn't matter. And sending the information to the school committee members ahead of time isn't part of the format of the agenda,
Well, that's true.
right? So that's my concern, is if we're,
Right, got it.
because we want to clean things up, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about format of the agenda, let's talk about format.
So you
If
want-
we want to talk about this timing stuff, then maybe that belongs in another piece of the policy that we haven't looked at yet, or maybe we've already looked at and
Yeah.
just didn't realize that
Right.
we had pieces over here and pieces over here that probably should be consolidated into one policy.
Should we pull it?
And I see your point about the 6501 being the notification of the meetings, maybe the notification and the,
Well, and-
Because that's
and
what
I mentioned
6501 is.
Because that's, well,
That
but
was
that is,
or is there a better spot?
that's notification, well, yeah, right, and so
For
I
the-
don't
for
know
the
if there's a
timing
better spot.
of
Is there-
the
but somewhere between
information.
6501 and 6505, and I haven't read the other policies. I meant to do that, and I've been swamped with my day job that pays me.
All right, so then this one has to go back to policy sub.
That's my,
okay.
that would be my recommendation.
And you're recommending to strike the fourth
The whole
paragraph?
paragraph.
Or move the paragraph?
Well,
We would have to look, as
Yeah,
a
I think the other
subcommittee, we would
paragraph
have
needs
to
to move
look
into
and see where it would
an
fit.
appropriate spot.
Move.
And the teachers' organization representative, copy of the agenda for the school meeting should be available. That's not part of the agenda format, that's part of the notification format, so I think that notification piece might need to go to 6501, so maybe 6501 needs to change as well,
Got it.
If that's where it's
if
determined.
that's where it belongs.
That's where it
So I think for at least those two, we might want to hold off on.
6501 too?
As
well, I mean?
Well,
Well,
that's
that's
what I'm
where-
thinking, right?
Yeah, okay.
Of the two, relative to school committee meetings,
Got it.
because that's related to notification to school committee meetings, and I think the LEA notification belongs under notification. So that might need to come back as well.
Okay.
Although,
That would be up to subcommittee to decide if that's the
right.
spot. If it's not the spot,
That may not be
then,
the spot, but somewhere within a school committee meeting agenda or policies, that should fit somewhere that's not related to the format of the agenda, is all I'm saying.
Got it. I got it.
Okay.
appreciate your clarity on that.
I'm being nitpicky, but, we're gonna,
So we're gonna pull the 65s.
that would be
Okay.
if we were to vote on doing so, then that would be my vote, yes.
Okay, so then we're just doing second reading for the other two. Well, we're gonna waive a second reading. You had nothing on the other two?
I didn't have anything on
I
the
don't
other
have
two, I was
anything on-
fine with those.
You guys are okay
Or,
with that?
Three.
Three,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yep, I was okay with them.
Okay. So we're gonna waive a second reading.
I'll make a motion to waive second reading for 1202, 1700, and 2200.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now it is time for public comment. Do we have a comment from the public?
Yes.
Please come up to the table and state your name and address.
Hi.
I know where it is, but state it for the public, for the rest of the.
Do we need to write that down too for our secretary? Oh, you're,
We
Got
can
it.
get it, yes.
My name is Dave Rogers. I live at 82 Highland Street. Before I get into what I came here for, I would like to make a couple of comments about your agenda. I think it's difficult for you folks at times to understand what it's like for folks at home, because you know what you're doing. Folks at home don't. And I would suggest that when you approve warrants, that you indicate what the value of the warrant is and what it's for, just to give folks
Oh, okay, you want us to go, okay.
yeah, I mean, not, just, a cursory kind of a...
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, we're approving warrants this evening for
The amount.
$2,344.
Got it.
With specific regard to the second reading policy, you approved 1202, 1700, and 2200, and I think it's important for the folks at home to understand what that is. What's the heading of the policy? Maybe a brief synopsis of it so that they'll understand how hard you work on pulling all this stuff, because it just doesn't happen. Okay, that's
Oh, we
fine.
did that at the last meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
That's why we waived the second.
Okay, that's fine, as long as folks know.
Right, and it's on the school website.
Okay.
And copies are available.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm here to just make a brief comment about one thing and a more extensive comments on another. The first of which is, I read in the paper about the Girl Scout and Brownie cost. Frankly, I was embarrassed because I don't see how any incremental increase in expenses would be borne by the district in having a meeting of Girl Scouts and Brownies. And I don't for the life of me understand how you could possibly substantiate a cost of $210 to those girls. So I do not want to belabor the point, but that's my concern. The crux of what I'd like to discuss with you next is when I read all of the resignations and the teacher retirements, it came to me that when we prepare a budget for the school district, there is a number that's agreed upon that takes into account all of the teachers and the staff and what have you, and it does not take into account, because there's no way that you could possibly know about retirements and resignations. And then I started to think and said, well, common sense tells me that if somebody has been here for an extended period of time, thank God, they're at the high end of the scale, and it's possible, not always, but it's possible, that sometimes when the replacements come in, they will be paid less money. Okay? So I took it upon myself to do a little survey. I'd like to pass that out to you at this time.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Merci.
Dos cervezas, por favor. So this is a side-by-side comparison of what the budgeted amount represented for the teachers that resigned and the teachers that retired. Okay. And it comes to a figure of $1,035,836. And to the right is the replacement amount. Now, there are two categories there that I really didn't have all of the information. It's the 1, 2, 3, the fourth one down. It says not yet replaced. So there's I don't know what the delta will be if there is one. And the other one is 2 from the bottom, second from the bottom. It says it's not replaced. So I didn't really calculate that in. If you do, it changes the number, but the difference here amounts to $113,527.86. That's the difference between the folks that were paid X number of dollars when they left or retired, and what it costs to replace them. It's a lot of money. Now, the premise that I work on is that the budget was formulated and put together in such a way that we've accounted for everything. But we didn't account for this delta, because you couldn't. There's no way that you'd know. So the bottom line in this is that there is 113,527 that's extra. And speaking as a taxpayer and a citizen, I'd like to see that turned back to the town at the end of the year.
Returned.
Yep. And the premise is, as I explained it, we budgeted for everything. This is money that was the difference, and rather than spending it within the district, because theoretically everything's taken care of in the budget, I think it should come back to the town and go into free, what is
Free
it?
cash.
Free cash,
Well,
it's
it's
neither
not
free
really
and it's
free
cash.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
there's no
really
such
free and
thing
it's
as
not
free
cash.
cash,
Yeah,
but-
right.
That's just
Back
its
into the
heading.
Town budget.
Right, right. So that's my, my concern, and that's what I wanted to speak to you about. And I would be, yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to go into any other detail. That's fine.
Perhaps we can have our business manager look at that, because there's a couple of not yet replaced. That doesn't mean that they aren't going to be replaced.
Right, I said that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 113 may not wind up being 113, but
But there still could be a
there
difference.
is there could be an
Could look at it.
opportunity there for something, yes.
Thank you for your detail on the
Yeah,
the information.
Thank you. Good luck.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi, Phyllis Luck, 50 Sunset Lane. I wanted to first of all say I really applaud the goals you guys have come up with, the superintendent and the school committees. I think, you know, making the community more aware of exactly what your role is perfect, you know? And I think trying out this new space and just trying to open up and communicate with the community, which is not easy, is a great goal. So thank you very much for that. I also wanted to mention that, you know, it may not be possible, but in the school district that I worked in, extended day was in the cafeteria, and it actually worked pretty well. I stayed late, and I used to go down to extended day to visit my kids, and sometimes grab a kid to come help me. Sign them out. So I don't know. It as a possibility for space. I think it worked pretty well in that situation, but you know, I don't have any idea whether it would work for you. It's just a thought.
I think
It is the space we're using.
it is. Partly they use that.
Oh, okay. When you were talking about the second,
They are up there.
It's for the early learning center classroom, the preschool.
Right.
That's during the daytime.
oh, okay,
Not the before
okay.
school and after school.
Because there are too many kids, they can't fit into that classroom. So they are using the cafeteria, and they used to use the gym a lot, and they do use the gym, except for when basketball season starts, then they get kicked out of the gym for the basketball program.
Yeah,
Because
right.
they go in right after school, especially at the primary school.
At the somebody uses the gym for basketball at the primary
Yeah,
school?
the basketball, the
Takes up
program,
all the
in
gyms.
the town program. It's not the town program, it's the rec league.
Rec league, yeah.
Yeah, the rec league, yeah.
Oh, and then uses it every day?
Almost, yes,
Oh, that's sort of a drag.
Number of teams, yeah.
yeah.
So when,
But that's something we should look into, because they might have to start later if the extended day program needs the gym, especially in the winter.
yeah, right. Those kids need to get a little bit of, you know,
Yeah.
just have them delayed a little bit so they get a half hour
Right.
or something, you know.
Of running
There's
space.
something about, at my school, it was a really weird thing. The kids always went to lunch right after you dismissed them from class, and then they had recess after. And did I already tell you the story? And we visited another school, and they actually did the opposite. They had the kids go to recess first and then come in and eat, and all the behavioral problems went away.
Because they were done moving.
Because they had a chance, and we go, duh. And so I was thinking the same thing with extended day. If they had a chance to get out and run, or in the winter, go to the gym for a while before they have to be inside, and you have the rec league start a little bit later or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, we just have to be creative. You know, I know that we're going to have a workshop with you guys.
Did Jamie bring it up at the last meeting?
Yes, he said your
November
meeting
7th.
time November 7th?
Yeah.
And that essentially, you'll probably have a little bit of business to do, but most of
Just
it
a little
would
bit.
just be a workshop.
At the beginning, yes, only a tiny bit, and then we were gonna just do workshop.
I reassured them that would probably be what you do.
Yeah.
And
I think it's just one thing, too.
And, you know, we can
Yes.
talk about space, you know, because we
can.
We're discussing all of what to do about patios and thing, and last night we talked about, if it is patios, eliminating part of it, because, as opposed to being landlords.
Right.
You know, but if there's a piece of it that we need, then we should just think about everything that we've got and
Communicate, because
how we
you
can
may
work
not
together.
know what we need.
Exactly. So if we talk about what you guys need and how we can help, that'll be great.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
You had
you.
nothing on this?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, reports, right? We're just reports? Charter review, we didn't have
Did
a
not
meeting.
meet.
Didn't have a meeting. We have a meeting next Wednesday.
Next week.
Yep. Athletic advisory did meet.
We met yesterday. We actually had a quorum, which was really nice. Of course you heard. I did not bring my notes, but the field hockey is doing a cancer fundraiser.
Awareness.
Cancer awareness fundraiser
For
with the
a
luminary.
young girl, yep.
With the candles. So, you know, that's gonna be happening. So they'll be approaching people for donations.
Yep. That's the 11th. That's next Thursday.
11th.
Yep.
Oh gosh, what was the other team?
Soccer. The 10th.
Yeah, soccer's doing a food drive.
The 10th.
For the
The day
food pantry, the day before.
That's their community outreach.
And I was told that the football game this Friday is to honor the military.
Yes.
So everybody, I was told to ask everybody to show up to support our service members.
Does that mean the theme is red, white, and blue again?
I didn't hear a theme. Nobody told me a theme, but somebody can probably post it on Facebook if they know.
Well, it's
I
usually
don't-
the kids' theme.
the kids'
the
theme,
dungeon.
okay.
Yeah.
That was as we were leaving
Oh,
the
okay.
meeting
I saw it
yesterday.
I saw someone posted it
Okay.
on
I-
Schools and Community page.
All right, I haven't
Joyce.
been on Facebook in a while. But yeah, so it went well.
Okay, good.
We've got a subgroup of people who are going to be working on our goals.
Yep.
Which were around
What was it?
service opportunities
For
for
the
student
students.
athletes.
That's right, student athletes.
There's a smaller group that's going to talk about, admission fees.
Fees. Yep.
That seemed to fall lower on the priority list. And then there's another group that are going to talk about how we can solicit feedback from probably the graduating seniors on their experiences in the various sports within Lunenburg, so that can go to the AD, so he can look at this anonymous feedback and figure out where
Corrections.
where some corrections might need to be made, and then he'll figure out where perhaps it might be a policy thing that it should go to the council to advise the school committee. We also talked about whether or not we need a policy around retiring jersey numbers. so.
What would be,
it's
they were
something-
talking about.
It's something that's going to be on a future agenda that we're
Okay.
going to talk about that, because we don't have a policy, right?
Do we have a need
Um,
to retire?
We don't have a need to retire anything at this point.
Okay.
But we don't want to be caught in a situation
Okay.
where there is a request to retire and we don't have a policy in place already. So,
Good
trying to be
idea.
proactive.
Yep.
So that'll be something on one of our future agendas. We did talk about the shadow boxes in the field house, that each booster club can designate something to go in their shadow boxes, a jersey or something that represents their sport.
Okay.
The concern was there may not be enough wall space, and I haven't been in there since before.
I don't even know where they're thinking about putting that anymore.
I don't either, so.
Mr.
We have to
Londa-
hold back on that.
Mr. Londa has mapped out enough, I believe that
Okay.
there is enough wall
Yeah, we
space.
have to
great.
talk, yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I told them, you can do it, you don't have to do it, it's really up to you, if you guys want to do it. I guess there was a question about where the shadow boxes are and all that kind of stuff, so if we can share that with
They're over at
Mr.
central
at the
office.
AD.
They're TCP. They're TCP.
Okay. So then we can share that with the group, and they can figure out what they want to do.
Okay.
That's about it.
FinCom.
Okay, I attended the last FinCom meeting, and there was some discussion about growth and its effects on services in the community. And they were talking about that residential growth is about 3/4 of the growth in the community. However, residential growth is also remodeling. So they were looking to try and discern the difference. So when I remodeled my kitchen, apparently that showed up as growth because
Because they reassessed your house.
because they reassessed my house. So it showed up as growth, but it didn't cause any problem with town services because nobody else lives in my house.
Yeah, but did your taxes go up?
Yes,
That's why.
yes, but so you have to look at the difference.
Right,
You
but
can't just-
that's why it's considered growth.
Right. So you just can't say that because there's so much new growth, therefore there are so many more people.
Right.
So
Correct.
that was a discussion, they're gonna look more into that. They're also looking at an online budget presentation tool that would would be able to make the public see a more transparent view of the budget. So they're looking into that right now, they don't have that sewed up or anything, but they're looking into it. And next week, Dr. Burnham and I and Hannah Anderson, who is the representative from Finance Committee to the School Committee, we're going to meet to talk about the communication between these boards and what are the proper channels to bring whatever we need to bring between us. So we have a meeting to schedule that, talk about that. And the next meeting is October 11th. They have a 6:30 workshop with the Board of Selectmen and a 7:30 public hearing for the special town meeting on the 13th of November.
Okay. Blizzard PAG advisory? How's that?
Nothing because I have no names because I assume the school councils haven't met.
Oh, that could be, correct, okay.
We have some names, not a full slate.
Well,
Okay.
that's good. Some
Okay.
is better than none.
That's better, yeah. Okay, policy subcommittee has not met since our last meeting. PTO,
PTO has not met since our last meeting, but they are all over the miles for miles, heavy into that. In fact, they're meeting tonight, the subcommittee on that.
what's the date on that again?
October 21st.
Want to make sure we have that up?
Yes, so don't
Day
forget
after
to,
homecoming.
yeah, the day after,
right. Oh
the
my
day
gosh.
after homecoming, so we always hope for great weather for homecoming, so nothing gets rearranged. LunenburgPTO.org, you can access the Miles for Miles site from there, or to milesformiles.com, it's another way, so you could sign up.
Okay,
You can find it linked under, I think, community links.
it's on the, on
Under
our
our
page.
Yeah.
website.
School councils, has anybody,
Nothing.
No.
nothing? Nope. Okay, and the next time we have to have capital planning on there, because we've started our meetings already. And we had a meeting yesterday, but I can't report on it because it's not on our agenda. So,
Okay.
the next one will be the 16th, wait, is it the 16th? Hold on. I just gotta look at the calendar.
And while you're looking that up.
The 16th, yeah, the 16th.
The athletic advisory next meeting is November 6th, which is election day,
Oh, yeah,
at 6:30.
6:30, okay. Okay, then. Topics for future discussion. What do you have?
Did we have a running list somewhere that hasn't yet made it on an agenda?
Oh, I don't know.
I want to say that we had one, but
Well, blizzard bags was
Yeah,
one of
we
it,
kept
and
that
now
on there
blizzard
for a while.
Blizzard bags now in the
Working on that.
reports.
maybe that was the only thing we had.
Next month, next time is the
Next meeting?
the MCAS and the building, the updates. So that is a full slate of principals.
Right.
And then the first one in November is now our workshop with selectmen and the superintendent's award recipient. And that's the only business that we have for that evening.
So we can have that televised.
That will be
for them.
televised, and hopefully, Dr. Burnham will be in touch with the student,
Yes.
and they'll be able to attend.
We did have topics
have-
for future discussion, LHS advisory.
But we discussed last meeting that was in error.
Yes.
Okay, so I won't bring it up again.
Okay, that was
Maybe
what I
that's what
remember
you're-
seeing.
That must be what
that
you
there
remember
was something.
seeing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for refreshing my memory.
And then the next meeting I will not be at, and Wendy will be running it.
Okay.
It's senior night.
Yay, for you.
Well, I don't have a senior, but I've been watching them since 8th grade, so,
Oh.
yeah. It's gonna be a big deal.
Okay.
So, yeah, they just had a game. I guess they tied it up 0-0 at the end. It was a big game against Oakmont. Yeah. So, and that is it. So we have no need for topics for future discussion, nothing?
I don't have
Well, we
anything.
do have a
Just
full
keep with
couple of
what's planned,
calendars.
yeah.
Yeah, we have full calendars. If anything comes up, send us an email.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I can move to adjourn?
It's 8:52?
At second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And there's.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.